What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Kick-Ass Podcast. We are doing a little bit of an impromptu show here. I just left the Kia Center, which was the home, of course, in Orlando, of WWE Smackdown for Friday night on August 16th. We got to see the not official return of Roman Reigns, because that was technically last week and technically at SummerSlam, but we got to see him come back and officially address Solo. We didn't hear any words from Roman, but we got to see him come back and try to avenge his necklace, right? I forget the name of the Alafala, I believe it is, something to that effect. But he came back to retrieve what is his, and to retrieve and reclaim his throne as the one in the original tribal chief. He, of course, was thwarted by the Bloodline 2.0, I guess you would say. Some call it the Temu Bloodline. Not my opinion, but it's pretty funny. But I think it was one of those shows where I obviously haven't watched it back yet, and I'm very intrigued to see how it came across on TV. But man, guys, like, the atmosphere was just different. Again, like, not to be one of those people, but the momentum that WWE is on, and just the feeling and the aura and the atmosphere that you get when you're there live in person, it just makes any segment really feel a little bit better and a little bit, like, it just hits different. Even starting off, so at the beginning of the show when we had Tiffy time, with Tiffany Stratton out there with Nia Jax, performing the celebration for Nia Jax becoming the women's champion, with Pretty Deadly out there as well. To start off, I was actually a little bit surprised. I didn't think that we were gonna see Nia kind of just not shit on Tiffany, Tiffy time or Tiffany, but just pretty much say she wasn't here for it. Like, I did like, though, her saying that that's not her style. This celebration, like the pink thing, like all the glamour and everything, that's not her style. She's more of an annihilator. She's more, I forget what she said, she's more destruction or something like that, destruction based. And I liked that. I liked that she kind of hammed it up a little bit, but then she made sense, and she was like, no, this isn't me. Like, yes, I'm royalty, and like you would expect a queen to come out on a throne, right? But everything else, like the balloons, the unicorn balloons, like the pink, everything pink, was just not Nia. And I liked that they called that out, and I liked that they addressed that. And I liked that Nia Jax asked and kind of called Tiffany out and told her to bow down. And to be honest with you guys, when she said bow down, to bow to her, I was expecting Charlotte to come back, Charlotte Flair. If you've been following her on Twitter or on Instagram or anything, I follow her on Twitter, not really on Instagram much. Her recovery, she's making a lot of progress, and I feel like we're gonna get a return from the Queen any month now. If I could see, once they wrap up this program with Nia Jax and Mi Chen, I could see that setting up Charlotte, and depending on whether you want to have Charlotte as a face or a heel, I think that's really gonna be a big factor on what happens with Nia going long term. But I have a funny feeling that Nia is going to be the foil for Charlotte for when Charlotte comes back. Potentially, maybe setting up a match for Bad Blood. Because obviously Bash in Berlin, I think it's too soon for that, so I'm not sure who Nia's opponent is going to be. Unless the title match that Mia Yim is getting is going to be at Bash in Berlin, which that would seem a little too heavy. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. Because I know she said that she got a title match. She spoke with Nick Aldis backstage, she being Mia Yim. But I'm not sure exactly if she had now announced when the match was going to be, if it was going to be next week or not. I may have missed that. But I really liked the opening segment. It wasn't anything like, oh my god, like, you got to go check it out. But I liked it. It played to both of the character's strengths. Tiffany's strengths of being a pink, all pink everything, right? The absurdity that is the briefcase with the strap. It's just absurd, and it fits her perfectly. I can't imagine how much money they're gonna make off of those things. But I like that Nia, again, owned up to it. She's like, this isn't me. This makes no sense. Like, this just isn't me. So I like that, and I like that the little seeds are being planted along for the dissension between the two. Now, if it's going to be a matter of Nia turning on Tiffany or Tiffany turning on Nia and cashing in, TBD on that one, to be determined. So we'll see. But I like what they're doing. I like the slow burn, and I like that it's not leading us down one path just to pull a swerve or anything like that. So I'm here for it. It's pretty cool. I'm down for it. The Carmelo Hayes match and Andrade just fucking blew everyone away, man. again, I love the best of 7 series. I'm here for, so sign me up for that. I love what they did. I think maybe after the match more so than anything else, the post-match beatdown, quote unquote. It made sense to me. I liked that Carmelo was rubbing the victory in Andrade's face, and Andrade at first was like, yeah, whatever, you won, like, fine, like, he was trying to leave the ring. Melo kept pushing and pushing and pushing, just being that instigator, and that little piece of shit, and he wouldn't leave him alone. He wouldn't leave well enough alone, so Andrade snapped and pushed him, and they started, punching each other, and it looked legit, like, it looked real. It made sense. Andrade's reaction made sense. Carmelo's reaction of winning and being a little prick and rubbing it in Andrade's face made sense, and I love that, and I love the little things like that to me make a big difference, and it just continues this feud on. I believe Andrade has 2 wins now, and Melo has 1, so again, it sets up a continuation for this. And the match they had was just, once I realized it was gonna be Melo and Andrade, I was like, oh, I'm definitely not getting any refreshments right now. So I'm definitely here to see that match be run back again, whether they do it at Bash in Berlin or if it's just going to be another Smackdown match or however they set it up. I'm here for it, and I like what they did, and it's giving both guys something to do, and it's excelling. It's really elevating them, I should say. Not anything crazy or into like main event status, but not everyone needs to be in the main event picture. Not everyone needs to be going after a title, and I think feuds like this and things and matches like this lead to those things, lead to a U.S. title match, lead to a heavyweight championship match down the road. So I like it. I'm here for it. I don't think they're underutilizing Andrade. Maybe a little bit underutilizing him. Maybe they could have had him coming in a little bit hotter. But I like his placement. I like the utility player that he is. I like that he feels important, but he doesn't feel overlooked, or he doesn't feel like a pushover. It's not a given. I honestly thought that he was going to win the match, and then when Melo won, I was surprised. They got me. So kudos to them. And again, I love the match. I love how they had the match played out, and I love the post-match beatdown even a little bit more than the match itself. What else was there? Of course, we had the Street Profits versus DIY to capture the #1 contenders match for the tag team championships. Very happy Street Profits won. Again, I can't wait to see what Montez is going to do long term in the future. I think as a single star, him and Bianca are just a power couple, not in the making because they already are a couple, but a power couple in the sense of being on TV, just in the making. I think it's just only a matter of time, and I think that it's going to be a sight to see, and it's I hope, and if they do it correctly, I think it's just gonna be money. They're just gonna be printing money with Montez and Bianca Belair. So yeah, I can't wait for that. But in the immediate future and in the present tense, what they're doing right now with the Street Profits and having them tell a story of winning match after match after match to get back to earning a shot and becoming the #1 contenders for the tag team titles. I really like that. And again, it's a story. It's something that, it's nothing major, but it's something that's threaded us along, and it's made each match feel a little bit more important. And then of course, guys, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up Kevin Owens versus Grayson Waller. I will say I was a little bit hesitant, a little bit concerned that we weren't going to see Cody tonight. Just me being biased. Of course, he wasn't advertised or anything like that, so if he didn't show up, it wouldn't be any false advertisement or anything like that. But I was like, you can't have, and when they're in their merch stands, they were having specific Orlando Nightmare t-shirts made, so or printed and selling them rather. So I was like, you can't have an Orlando Nightmare t-shirt and not have Cody Rhodes, man. Like, come on. So even though he didn't get his full entrance, didn't get a prominent segment or anything like that, I dug it. It made sense. It gave the fans a nice moment to see Cody really quick. I will say I was surprised he didn't show up after SmackDown aired and ended on TV. We did have a couple dark matches, and I was surprised that Cody didn't come out at all. But it is what it is. He is advertised for a local show in Lakeland that's about 20 minutes from the Orlando area. A super show, a house show, that seems to be has a pretty solid lineup. So good for them. But again, guys, the main event was Roman Reigns coming out. Everyone, the whole night, was chanting OTC, which to me, I can't stand the abbreviation. It just drives me nuts. OTC. I'm just not. I'm not here for it. It's just not my bag. But whatever. it is what it is. But man, guys, Roman is just on another level right now. You know, I kind of feel for Cody because he's not the #1 babyface, and it's coming from a Cody Rhodes fan, and that's okay. You know, like it's one of those things where, yes, you're the champion, but there's a star that's a little bit bigger than you, and it just is what it is. Not saying Cody isn't going to be that person one day, but he's the guy right now. But Roman is the star right now, and that's okay. You know, like, Cody is in a great place. Cody, I don't think, should feel any type of way about that. Yeah, it's probably like still like, what the fuck do I have to do if you're Cody, you know? But I don't think anyone could really take the place of Roman right now, and just the level that Roman is on. And that's okay. And right now, I want them to be on 2 different planes and be in 2 different worlds, even if they're on the same show. They don't need to interact. They don't need to mingle. Maybe if you want to show them passing each other, maybe that's one thing, but how Roman specifically addresses his stuff with the Bloodline and his issues with the Bloodline, and having him focus on regaining his tribal chief status, and then have Cody Rhodes doing his own thing over here. You know, he's defending the championship against Kevin Owens. They have their story going on. Then after that, I'm sure we'll get Randy Orton at some point. So keeping them separate, and again, not even separate until WrestleMania next year. I'm saying separate for at least another year. It's not needed, and I think that way you protect Cody as well. You obviously get everything you can out of Roman being the star and on the plane and on the level that he is, but then you also have Cody pretty much doing something similar, just maybe one little peg down, but still amplifying and getting himself ready for when Roman is not officially done, because I think we still have a good amount of time with Roman, but just shining that up, you know, and I think just getting Cody even more and more ready. So I wouldn't be concerned about Cody if I was anyone out there. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe this is all a setup for Cody's failure and demise, which I highly doubt. But yeah, and I love what they did with Roman. I love how Solo came out, started the segment. It was very brief, very straight to the point. He called out Roman. Roman came out. The new music is fine. I dig it. It kind of sets you up, gets you ready, gets the fans ready to really embrace and do the finger and everything. And when I tell you guys, everyone from the front row all the way to the rafters, and there may have been a handful of seats that were open, maybe, but it honestly wouldn't surprise me if it was a complete sellout. Literally from, I'm not even exaggerating, front row to the very top of the rafters. Rafters, everything was full. Even people like literally looking like probably eye level with the flags, the banners that are up there. It's just crazy and a good sight to see. But everyone had their fingers up in the air for Roman, and it's just night and day. It's just crazy to see how he was the most hated and just the most despised, and people were just tired of Roman, and just even more than Cena, just like fed up with Roman. And now he's the biggest thing going. He's the hottest thing going. I love that he put I think it's Olafala. Forgive me, guys. I love that he put it on, and he got that sense of home, and like, this is relief. This feels right. This is where it's supposed to be. And then the second he got that sense of what he thought was relief, bam, super kick from Jacob Fatu. And if Jacob's foot is really fucked up and obviously probably not broken, he wouldn't be doing what he's doing. But even if whatever pain he's in, shout out to this guy, because he is out there making it look like it's nothing, making it look like he's just literally just in a boot, and it's just a regular boot, and his foot is fine. But man, he's something else. And I think Jacob Fatu is a star in the making for them as well, and I think it's gonna be very fun to see the eventual Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa match. I think that's gonna be really fun and a fun story. But I'm very intrigued to see what Roman ends up doing and getting, and how he ends up getting Jay and Jimmy and Paul Heyman back. I don't think it's gonna be too hard to get Paul Heyman back, but to get Jimmy and Jay back, to have his side of the bloodline. So I'm very intrigued to see what happens there. But that's just some quick thoughts. A quick recap from Smackdown tonight. I would show you the arena, but I'm kind of parked in a weird spot, so can't really do that. But as always, guys, thank you so much for checking out the show. I will be airing, and I will be, it's actually going to be a new live show that I'm going to be joining forces with Brass Ring Media over on their YouTube channel. I'm going to be doing a live show for them every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So feel free to check me out there, give them a follow if you have not checked out their content. They do great work over there. I've been listening to Zach and Tyler for years now from PW Torch, and they branched out about a year ago and started Brass Ring Media, and they're really killing it. They're really building momentum, you know, the hit word for WWE. They're really building momentum and building their brand. So I'm very honored and very excited to contribute to them and just give them a little bit of Kick-Ass podcast world, right? And just to rant over there, you know, and have another outlet to talk wrestling and to interact with their fans and their people, and just to talk wrestling with you guys. It's just, like I've said in the past, it's still just kind of mind-blowing to me that people listen to me talk, because I just literally jumped on a pod one day with a friend just to vent about wrestling, and that's what I do now, and people just so happen to listen and to check it out and follow. So I truly appreciate that, and like I said, feel free to check me out on Brass Ring Media every Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, live on YouTube. But you can obviously follow me on Twitter at @KickAshPodcast_ for this show, and for me personally at ASHMANNS. But until next time, guys, thank you as always for the support and for checking us out, and have a great weekend. Be safe.